Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Always interpret the message as the best resonates. I can't believe I actually made it early, not even on time. I just had a sneeze fit again all the time. We always have we always know when we have spiritual blocks. And you know why? Because something always happens before you want to do something. It's almost like you get overstimulated. I know I do. Oversensitivity. And I'm kind of feeling like you're connected to someone that's oversensitive. Again, because I always ask Spirit, how am I supposed to start the reading? And Spirit always says, only in the now do I give you divine guidance through feeling, right? And so, again, everything is always talking to us, signs and symbols. So, if you're unsure about what to do within your relationship, if you just get quiet, a lot of times you'll always get the guidance. You may not like the guidance you get, but you'll always get the guidance. Your brain might get in the way where you over chatter. And that's what I feel like. I feel like you're connected to someone that is overthinking things. I don't know why. Again, Spirit tells me things beforehand, I guess to make me relax a little bit, gives me little hints. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to be open to getting a shadow reading. And shadow readings are a little bit like therapy because it's very rarely is it yes or no. Very rarely. It's, I like this person, but, I know that they care about me, but there's always that but. And so spiritual blocks are that when we're fighting between our heart and our mind, when we're not balanced. Balance means that you're, again, present in the moment, grounded, able to receive divine guidance because you're actually in your body. So you're able to feel. A lot of the spiritual blocks makes us go up in our head, overthink. And that is what creates overstimulation. Yeah, and when a person's overstimulated, they can sneeze a lot. They become very sensitive to what people say. Oversensitivity acts in a lot of different ways. If you're an empath, you know this, and I feel that you're an empath, and I feel like you're connected to your soulmate, but somebody that has off energy, which is like great. Now I have off energy because I'm connected to someone that's off. It's like whether you want to or not. Soulmates are that way. It's through the heart and mind. You have no control. It's unconditional love. That's what unconditional love is. So integration is learning why you are in a situation, meaning why you attract that person. And and then seeing things from a higher perception, which is always through the filter of unconditional love. A lot of times we don't, we get triggered, we get stuck in a perception, and that means that we're not seeing how we contribute to the undesirable life experiences. That's why they're more like therapy, because you actually have the power to shape shift your situation. You may not be able to get your person to treat you the way that you want them to, but you definitely don't need to receive any negative karmic retribution. You can always avoid that if you have the right discernment. That's what it's about. Otherwise, you don't. You're stuck in a karmic loop. Karmic loops turn into karmic cycles that can turn into karmic contracts, and you don't want that. You don't want that. Keeps you stuck in a place of disempowerment. So the war on consciousness that's actually happening in the world right now is a war on that puts you in a place of limitation, disempowerment, where you have to be true to you. Understand that spirit resides inside of you. It's our connection to each other. It's felt as empathy. When you have a soulmate twin flame, that's what you feel. You feel that, you feel like home. When you meet a person of your soul tribe, hey, you feel like home. Well, that's because they are. It's, again, unconditional love. So our job when we are integrating shadows is to get back to that original state of unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe. It's the energy of God. It's the energy of unconditional love that's inside you, me, and it's a superpower energy. It makes us powerful. And so we shouldn't be stuck in a place of fear and victimization and betrayal and all those things that come from being in the wrong type of relationships. So if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. You got to be open to receiving the information. The word of the video is neglect and self-neglect. You know, I feel like, again, you're connected to someone that's overthinking. So they get in their own way. They're overstimulated. So they neglect, they're neglecting themselves, but in that they're neglecting you. And that's the energy there. You're like, why isn't anything happening? Why is this person still holding on energetically? Why am I still holding on energetically? What the fuck is this? It's like it creates a lot of emotions. It's like a roller coaster of emotions because of all the different thoughts, right? Your thoughts create your emotions. So you're like, okay, I'm crazy. That's what it feels like. And God says, well, love can make you crazy. But that's because there's blocks. You need to integrate them. This person's teaching you something. Yeah, what are they fucking teaching me? like I want to kill myself. like want to kill them. What are they teaching me? They make me feel not important. They make me feel, and Spirit says, no one should be able to make you feel that way. And the Spirit says again, when you're balanced, no one can make you feel that way. You're actually commanding your energy. People will try, but they don't get anywhere. So the saying, if you can't beat them, you join them. It's again, would you rather be loved or respected? Well, in the beginning, always respected. Then love. Then you'll get the right type of love. Otherwise, you get love that is like not. And if a person doesn't know how to treat themselves, they're emotionally not intelligent. That's what that means. It's like, I'm stuck and stupid, so I'm hoping that you'll do something. It's again, giving up their power, again, acting as if they, are constrained. But in that, again, it makes you feel constrained. It's like, well, I'm not going to disempower myself. I'm not going to, and it is, you're being challenged. I feel like you've come to a place within your evolution, like you can't accept what no longer serves you. And this person's character is that, even though you know that there's love, it's like everything that they do is out of alignment with who you are and where you want to go. And it's because they choose to stay in a low vibration. You represent the higher vibration. And that's not an ego building like, oh, yeah, you should pump it on up. No, God says, no, I expect you to hold your consciousness to the place of unconditional love when you got to deal with shits like that. And that's not easy to do, especially if you're an empath. It's a challenge. So there's bigger things at hand. So again, it's like, I feel like for a long time, you and this person held on. And there's a sense that both of you know that neither one of you guys are going to do anything at this point. And there's a sadness. So either you got to grieve and let go, or you have to give in. And that's really what this person's sitting in sadness, because they have come to the awareness that you are not going to do anything, but it took them a really long time. It's like to the point that they went through every single emotion that there has been, because this person avoids, feeling vulnerable. Now, obviously, as you sitting there being like waiting for this person, or being like, okay, I thought that we had a connection. I thought that I meant more to you. Everything that this person is showing you is everything the opposite of that. This person does nothing but get in their own way. Psychological reversal. A psychological reversal is they don't believe that they can have love. So what you'll see is that they can give to other people, but never to you. Then is again, they created attachments, and this person wants you to create an attachment to them, because they don't love themselves. So the only way that they can feel stable is through a codependent relationship. So this person does nothing and holds back, and usually gets people to give to them. It's like a default way. They come in like almost like handicapped, where you like would feel the need to give. And there's a part of you that like, it's like, I recognize whatever the fuck this is, and I don't want it. And so this person actually sees you as like rejecting them because they're out of balance. It's what feels good to them. It's what feels right, but they don't create good relationships. And that's what you're like, I don't trust you. And it's again, and I feel like you would know that it would be a lot of abuse, emotional, psychological abuse, right? And I feel like what happened is like you got tired of the in and out as it was, and you're like, I'm gonna be in a relationship with this person that's gonna like constrain me. I would be sad all the time. You were sad then, but sad eventually turns into anger, turns into resentment, turns into other things. And I feel like that's what you knew. Now, just because a person acts this way doesn't mean that they don't have feelings, or it may have. Again, what we see is a lot of different feelings here because they need a lot of healing. However, you can say, well, what's the whole point of the relationship then? Because again, when you attract relationships that really are like duds, and I know that because it's like you are thinking that you're dating someone that you're not, you're being completely catfished. You think that, and it's really to just draw attention to what you need to heal, because your relationships are here to serve as teachers, right, of things that you need to heal. And so if you feel like you can't have love, then what happens is you keep going into these relationships that you're like, what the fuck is this? It's like it's just a different form of dysfunction. And it's like that's making me feel as if I'm dysfunctional. And God says no one should be able to make you feel that way. So there's shadows there. Healing is the integrating, because you're down there in physical form to learn and to manifest. Down where? Down on earth. Down, you're in physical form to learn and to manifest. Learn you're not separate from God, which is unconditional love, which is the universe, which is, we're all connected, is the whole point. Is that our perceptions, the world teaches us different. So again, separate or together, we are working in tandem with each other. So I feel like that you both like trigger the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like you want this person to change, and this person wants you to change. It's again what feels comfortable, and a lot of times that comes from the environments that we grow up in. We all form survival mechanisms, and those survival mechanisms, what Spirit is saying, is like they're not working. They're not working. They're actually cutting you off from abundance. Love is a form of abundance. So this person feels the same exact way that you do, which is, this sucks. Whatever the fuck this is, this sucks. I hate it. I hate myself. And Spirit says, oh, is that what's happening here? God says, you're not allowed to do that because I live inside of you as the gift of the Holy Spirit. You got to love yourself more than anyone, more than anybody. That goes against the law of attraction, the first law of the universe. Spirit says, when you're like, well, I don't really hate myself, I just hate that. And Spirit says, but it's still a form of hate, whether it's a little bit or a lot. It's fear. So it needs to be integrated, Spirit saying, because it's like you can't control love, and there is a connection of love. You just don't like what it looks like. You're like, I don't like this. It's always a theme that love is pain, that love is shortchanging me somehow. Our mission is to be unconditional love. Clearing our programs is necessary part of opening up our hearts. So again, we inherited family karma. This is what's going on here. It's like, so as long as that is there, you're going to keep like that like feeling. Now, it doesn't mean eventually you wouldn't meet somebody, but then there would be other issues like intimacy issues over time, because you're not balanced and grounded in yourself. There would be a form of codependent, which is attachment, which is, well, now you didn't show up for me the way that I perceived that you should have showed up for me. And Spirit says that person's not, It's that you need to show up for yourself. You're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So you keep reliving. The karmic program is of codependency. It's of, well, this is what normal is, but it's also that marriage sucks because no one was happy. It's like that, you're not going to have any money. You're going to give up your rights. So there's a lot of fear, which are those programs, which is what causes psychological reversals. It's like, obviously, why am I going to volunteer to go into lack, limitation, disempowerment, fear? I'm not volunteering to do that. But then Spirit says, then you're overcompensating because you're not coming from the true self, the higher self, which is a God part of self, which is always unconditional love. You're there to learn. You're not separate from me, which is unconditional love. Because again, there's blocks. And you can see what it looks like. Your relationship is what it looks like. You're like, I don't like what it looks like. Spirit says, yeah, you wouldn't know though. You wouldn't know. So it's not that there's problems like, oh, everybody has spiritual blocks. No one's perfect. That's the whole point. We wouldn't stick around long enough to learn if the person wasn't hot. If there wasn't an element of, we really like that person. Hey, dark and lovely and Mose. So it says, I need your trust to me and believe I am working towards union with you. So I feel like this person may not be doing anything like on the outside, but internally a lot is going on. And it's because the divine's involved. It's like, you're like, okay, why I am powerless over this. Whatever the shit this is, I'm powerless over this. I don't like it. And Spirit says, well, you're going to sit there because you need to learn something. And the more you fight, the more it's going to be like a Chinese puzzle. Like you're going to feel like tighter and tighter and tighter. So the universe says, I wouldn't fight me on this. Trust me, because I always win. I always collect my due. There's karma that needs to be paid here. It's again, spiritual blocks create karma. And it's about time the dead is here. It's about 700 generations in the Bible, it says, and you are lucky number 700. How are you going to pay that karma? There's dues to be paid. We're stuck at a road fucking block. We're stuck at a roadblock. Me and you are stuck at a roadblock. I don't want to be stuck to you. You don't want to be stuck to me. What is going on here? And the Spirit says, so this person internally and you internally are like trying to figure out a way. And that's how you know that the divine's involved, because the divine's like, no, we got to stop this. And you have to figure it out. I can help you, but you have to figure it out. This person has to figure it out. Otherwise, it's like you'll both walk away and there will always be an energetic cord. And yes, you'll meet other people, but that's a significant thing of a spiritual lesson that's supposed to be learned. Again, spiritual lessons help us integrate to become whole, where the universe is saying, there's shadows here. I don't know what the fuck this is. This isn't me. This isn't me. This isn't me. This isn't me. And you're like, hey, I don't like what that looks like. And Spirit says, no. And either does this person. But they're so stubborn, and you're so stubborn that I have to make you really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. That's how you know it's a shadow. It's a spiritual block. It's like, I'm stuck. It's like, I'm stuck. And I can't control it. And the Spirit says, yeah, but I'll make you figure it out. It's again, because I always collect my due. You're down there to learn. And so I feel your energy around me, and I wonder, are you thinking of me too? So the energy is softening. You can feel the energy softening. Again, where in the beginning, what you saw was this, and the karmic programs of survival. Again, when we feel inadequate, when we feel like there's something wrong with us, where we have to form attachments, right? Codependency. I need that. I need that for my emotional support. I need that for my financial support. I need that. And the universe is like, no. 700 generations worth. No. You think I'm not listening to you, but I am. I hear everything you say and even replay our conversations in my head. And to the point where, again, they ruminate on them and they read into everything. Again, coming from that survival mechanism. So, again, the person already feels inadequate. They have strong feelings of love. They unconsciously don't believe that they can have love, again, or are whole in love. And so, again, they ruminate on everything. So there's a thing called sick, scared, stupid. So that person, again, doesn't do anything. They just freeze. So they feel inadequate, which is why they form attachments. It's unreal. But that it's an unconscious thing that happens in childhood when we're taught to like live in survival mode, right? It's like my love comes from overgiving, overdoing, abandoning myself to save the family, to create support for the family so I couldn't create myself. So I feel inadequate because I'm tapping into everyone and I care too much about what other people think instead of creating myself. I've grown away from myself. Though it doesn't mean I don't have feelings for you. Of course I have love because love can't be destroyed. It just is. It tells me where I should be, though it's like I'm certainly not there. We project our patterns onto each other, and this makes it really difficult to see what is real and what is fear based thinking. It's again, which is very common for a root chakra imbalance. Like I said, the imagination gets too involved. That's what's happening here. The imagination. It's again where God is now, the universe is saying, snap out of it, Alice. Get back into your body. It's like you're imagining the worst case scenarios. This person again is scared. They don't know. They only have bad experiences to reflect back to, and they embody those emotions. So how do you manifest? Through the thoughts that you think, the emotions that you have. So the psychological reversal is that, where you're like, okay, the person looks normal. It's like, why do they do what they do? And it's like because of overstimulation. I feel insecure and it's pushing me to grow. See, again, spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, brings people into our lives to grow. If the relationship wasn't uncomfortable, this person wouldn't stick around long enough to learn. Like if weren't hot for you, is what I'm trying to say. If they weren't hot for you, they wouldn't stick around long enough to learn because it's such an uncomfortable lesson. It's terrifying to this person. Our ego creates walls, and those walls are there for protection. So every time we get wounded, which obviously this person has only experienced that because it's a pattern, and patterns create neurological pathways within the mind, which create automatic behavior, which means that this person, every time they get overstimulated, goes into autopilot, which is just where they react. They don't think, and you're like, you don't think, man. And no, they don't, because again, they're in survival mode. So this is why they feel inadequate. And I feel as if some of you grew up with a parent that had the same thing and it affected them within their job. So again, spirit always brings people into our life to show us from a different perception. It's all about getting back to a place of unconditional love to help you heal your spiritual wounds of inadequacy. Because on some level, you can identify. Again, that's really what it's about. The universe talks to us through people, situations, and experiences, right? It's no coinky dinky that you wound up here today and needing to learn. I think you're beautiful inside and out. I see the light that resonates from your soul. Again, this person knows. But sometimes it's so pure and it's so clean, and this person's busy looking for a problem. Like we see what we look for. That's the problem. If I followed you around all day, I'd imagine shit. And I'm sure if you followed me around all day, you'd be like, this person's fucked up. I listen to them on YouTube and I know that they're fucked up for sure. It's like, because we see what we look for. It's like where this person couldn't find anything. And they couldn't find anything because spirit brings people that bring different gifts, have different character traits to us. And I feel like you're a genuine person. Again, this person doesn't trust anyone. So the universe would have to bring someone to them that they would feel like this person really doesn't like lie. And there's an inside knowing. It's called claircognizance. We all have it. Only in the now do we get divine guidance. It's discernment. We all have it. It's, again, that's how we're able to, again, know whether someone's BSing. And so this person looked, believe me, and they still couldn't find anything. And so I feel the chemistry between us. We need to trust that this energy that we share will bring us back together. And like, almost like, obviously, like the person, if they didn't find you hot, like I said earlier, they wouldn't stick around long enough. The universe is like, this shit's not done. This shit's not done. It's like, so, somebody's going to cave here. It's like, and I don't have all day. The universe says time is a ticket. And the longer you wait, the more uncomfortable it's going to be. And so when you're tapped into this person through ESP, through the heart and mind, again, past life, karmic mate, well, it's like, hello, I found you again in this life, because through your energy, well, this person's, you're tapped in and they're pissed off. They're on a location of ride. So you want to know why you're talking to yourself in the bathroom, screaming at yourself. Well, it's, again, because you're tapped into this person's energy. That says, I wouldn't do that if I was you, because this person is, fighting their ego. You think that that's an easy fight? Oh, no. Go get your popcorn. It's like, because they're they have a big ego. They've gone through a lot of pain and suffering. They're not volunteering for this. But the universe says, but this is good. Get your popcorn, because I always win. I love this. I always win. So let's see this person make a real big ass out of themselves and then have to humble themselves, because, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So I love this. And it's like, but I wouldn't tap into their energy, because, you're going to have a problem. You're going to feel like they're riding a dragon. Okay. Like, that's what it's going to feel like. The planets are activating us to heal and bringing us closer together, surrender to the change. Again, the universe is like, just, man, you're going to do it one way or the other. You're going to do it one way or the other. You wouldn't know what your marker is. This person wouldn't know what their marker is. And you're like, my marker, this person's a fucking asshole. And Spirit says, well, it looks like you might need to learn how to forgive. Maybe get some compassion. Again, if this person comes different, fuck that. This person needs to earn it. And Spirit says, okay, the planets need to do more activating. Because, again, you now have your wall up. But it's like, this person needs to prove. And Spirit says, my hand's involved. It's, again, because you got two dumb people here that don't know how to drive, that are trying to drive. It looks like bumper cars. And it's not purposely, supposed to look like that. You're supposed to be on the highway and you're playing bumper cars with each other. It's like, Spirit says, so I had to have a hand in it, because, again, those childhood wounds. It's, again, where you're like, I keep reliving this dud life that people who just fucked up to me. And so Spirit says, yeah, see, all that needs to go. And this person, which is, again, they just keep getting in their own way. But there is unconditional love. My inner child was wounded when my parents couldn't respond to me in the way I needed them to. I am reacting from that wound, and we know this already. So, again, this is just confirmation for what I channeled, because I don't really use cards. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like, but, we have to evolve, Spirit says, and I had to get the information out some way. So I created my own deck. So let's pull from that deck and see, what can we do to heal this shit? Because the integration process, and spirit says, well, again, this person is reflecting. You're reflecting regardless of whether you want to. It's again when you always have to go back to where the wound originated from. And it's always pretty much your inner child. It just mirrors out it during different stages of your life differently. So when you're a child, it may play out as feeling rejected from friends, where later on it's other things. But what you notice is that it's the same karmic theme that keeps you in a place of disempowerment. So where spirit's saying integration, because it's that we can look and see what this person did, and we don't need to. We know that they did a lot of shit. It's like, why relive it? Spirit says, because that's going to feed your green monster. We want solutions. We want to know what this person's going to do too, because we have an ego also. We want to know what they really think. Even though that they have these masks, wore these masks, and they get in their own way, what do they really think? If they were like normal, like they could not get in their own way, what would it look like? And so we look and we see life feels empty without you by my side. You were my everything, and I pushed you away. Again, person doesn't believe that they deserve love. So it's again, I feel like even if you're like, well, I wasn't really in their life. No, but you cut your energy off. So whether you were in their life where it was like, well, it was open and we talked when I came in and out of your life, I look now and I did realize I didn't give you enough. But that door was always open. You were always welcoming to me. You shut the fucking door. So it feels empty because I can't stay in that place of imagination anymore, which happens with detachment and disassociation, which, by the way, needed to happen. You needed to cut that energy because you're like, I refuse to let you stay in imagination land, in the ether, like where you're not going to ground. It's like one day you fantasize on me, one day it's like, no, because you have to do something because change doesn't feel good. Well, again, that's why spirit says, well, I have to make this person really uncomfortable. So let's turn up the heat. It's like, watch this person suffer. But understand you had to do your part. Because you're like, okay, you pushed me away. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect myself. You understand me better than anyone else. Your eyes can see into my soul, and I can't hide from you, and it terrifies me. Again, because past life soulmates do. You read them like a book. So it's like avoidance. I don't really know how to deal with it either. So I'm going to overthink it. I'm going to get in my own way. I'm going to procrastinate. All these behaviorisms that sabotage the relationship. Because you're sitting over there being like, what the fuck? It's like I'm watching this person and, it's like they're driving to me and they get like a block away and then they go down the wrong street, or they get hit, they hit another car, or there's always a problem. It's never just easy. And this person knows that. And the more nervous that they get, the more, again, that they're going to get in their own way, because there's a feeling of, I'm not deserving of it. They're not aware. That happens again from severe trauma in childhood, where that's why you understand them, because you watch them, you perceive them, you also know their heart. You're like, I know that you're trying to be a good person, but it's like, come on, like it really looks like fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what this is here, but like, it's like, but I'm stuck to you. And spirit says, well, you have something to learn too, but understand this person, you feel like home, you're a past life soulmate. This person lost you once, they don't want to lose you again, but they have to heal these inner child wounds. So again, when we are born into families that abuse us on some level, and this could be sexual abuse, it could be a severe trauma. It's again where the person does not believe that they have love, and they could have watched it. remember when the 700 generations, that what they're saying is you grew up in a family, the family dynamic that taught that program that you needed to learn to, again, to become whole, right? Okay, so this is new beginnings, rapid growth, almost like this person again is needy, but it's like they want a new beginning. It's like if you really want to know what they want, and you might be like, but that's what it looks like. And you're like, yeah, that's what it looks like, unfortunately. So that you'd be like, so what can I do with that? Because there's nothing I could do with it. It's like handicapped. And Spirit says, no, but you have too many expectations of what it is, and you need to again surrender to what unconditional love, what that. And you might be like, why am I living that? Well, if you grew up in that same type of dynamic, because like goes to like, where maybe it wasn't severe, but it was still made you feel inadequate, still made you feel not supported, still made you feel not good enough, that environment, then you have blocks to unconditional love. So your perception of what love would need to be is for you is a little bit codependent too, because of that. So this person is not going to give you any of that, which is you're actually going to feel depleted, and you're going to be like, why the fuck am I getting less if I need more? And Spirit says, because it doesn't come from outside of you. You have to generate it yourself. The program is the belief. The program is the condition, the behaviorism. You want to block that. So you have to start over. Like, again, stuff like reprogram, almost like as if you were a baby, because it's like you were just born into a family that taught certain things. And so healing doesn't feel good. Understand that. We don't volunteer to do this healing. Think anyone would volunteer for this fuckery? No one wants this. It's like, it makes me feel inadequate. It makes me feel not good enough. It makes me feel, the Spirit says none of that should be there, just so that you know. And that's what you inherited from your family. It's again, because none of that is real. None of that should be real. You have to shapeshift the situation. It's again, especially if there's unconditional love here, because that means people are going to change. It's again, believe in the impossible, because people are going to change. That's what I just said. It's like, because there is a sense that I feel whoever I'm channeling into, there is love. It's just, it looks like fuck shit. I don't want it. It's like ruled with nothing but pain and ugliness. And Spirit says, take the focus off of it. Put the focus on you. It's again, this person has come into your life to show you those aspects. That is it. But is there unconditional love? Yes, but not by your expectations or your ownership. Unconditional love is neither. It is just that. I can't help it. It's like I can't help it. And so Spirit says you got to regain spiritual equilibrium by surrendering. And that doesn't feel good, especially if you grew up in survival mode. You're going to be like, I don't want to. I don't want to. And I deserve. And Spirit says, yeah, I know. So, but you can lessen the pain by becoming and doing for you. And then eventually you'll have a different mindset. Because the illusion is, I really should, do that. Otherwise, you're going to be reactive. This person, again, is a reactive. That's the underlining energy. They don't think, they react. And we knew that. And so what'll happen is you'll just react, because you're both triggering each other. Like, you should be smart. It's like, you should care. You're so selfish. And Spirit says, yeah, all those things are true. It's like, all those things are true. And you're holding up a mirror for this person. But it's their ignorance. They're ignorant because no one ever taught them, or they didn't stick around long enough to learn or to care to learn. It's all about clearing karmic programs of intolerance, which is like being true to you. Understand, what did I start this with? You want to be respected, and then the love will follow. Otherwise, you'll get loved without respect, and the relationship won't last, because that is codependent. That is attachment. It's again being true to yourself, growing a full sense of self. When you do that, you don't neglect yourself or anyone else. You again, it's coming from the highest state of consciousness, which is of unconditional love. And we all have this. It's an internal knowing. It comes from claircognizance, and that is clear knowing. I don't know how I knew. It's the proverbial light bulb. It's like, I don't know how I knew. I just knew. It goes when you again live in clairsentient for a long time, which is I use my sense of feeling often, and then eventually clear knowing comes into play. That's how mediumship is done. ESP through the heart and mind. When we live in trauma, it again makes us very psychic. So again, ESP through the heart and mind, this person and you, because of similar traumas that need to be learned, similar wounds that create a lot of anxiety and worry, right? It's that's what it is. It's always coming from a fear-based consciousness, which is taught, which is, I don't know, I just grew up in an environment that it was like that I was like that. There was a lot of pain, and a lot of pain because there was real root chakra imbalances, and that's where we couldn't trust the people that we grew up with. It's like this person couldn't on some level, and maybe you were like, well, I didn't have it to the point that they had it. I just didn't have people that emotionally showed up for me. So Spirit says it still made you feel a certain way, and that is what needs to be integrated, the codependency. Otherwise, it's like, well, I keep getting this. And it's like, and Spirit says, well, it doesn't need to be that way. It's again, you don't need to continue to, again, that love is pain. Spirit says you have to integrate the higher states of consciousness, which is just always coming from a place of unconditional love. That's what really a Christ consciousness is. It's not a religious thing. It's more of a, I don't know why they call it that, actually. It's like they've called it like universal consciousness is another way, which is just the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. And otherwise, what'll happen is there would just always be fear. You know, it's about learning to put the energy really into becoming yourself. Magical realism is seeing like the I want to say the fantasy is the magic in our everyday life, instead of, you know, looking at what somebody else is doing and how somebody else should be. That's a lot of times what happens. It's that we feel that, well, if you love me, it should look a certain way. And Spirit says, yes, for the most part, understand this is exaggerated because this person has wounds. But I needed to bring this person to you to show you what you really need healing in. Not because, oh, well, this is what I'm going to get stuck in. And Spirit says, well, if you integrate that and you do it for yourself, well, then that person's either forced to change, which is what we see here. It's again, they're changing because you change. It's again, you're tapped into each other on an energetic cord. You can keep feeding it negative shit where you'll both feel like shit, or you can change, which inevitably makes this person look at their life and make them change. It's again, but it's not done by you saying, I need you to change. I need you to change. I need you to change. I need you to do this. See, I need you to do that. I need you to do, nope. They're not going to hear none of it. So it's about you changing. Again, then they change. It's not about what you say, it's what you do, because it's not about what they say, it's about what they do. And so you have to kind of recondition, which is, again, when we pulled that baby card where Spirit is like, like you got to start from the beginning. And you start from the beginning, the baby, again, to get the fairy tale, right? It's like, because you have to reprogram yourself of what you believe unconditional love is. Otherwise, you stay in a place of disempowerment and limitation, and that makes you stay fearful, where, again, that's an illusion. That's not real. That's the illusion. And so we have to say, well, then I'm stuck here. And Spirit says, no. When you evolve, you will attract more people to you, which, by the way, that's when the universe also has a hand and brings other people into your life, which a lot of times makes the person that you wanted them to change rise up a lot faster. That's number one, because now their ego gets involved, like, oh, I better change. If there's unconditional love, this person's already uncomfortable. They're just, imagine, having to surrender to something that you don't really want to surrender to, because you have a lot of fear around it. So it's like unprying candy from a baby. It's like one finger at a time. It's like, that's what it feels like. They don't want to surrender. But when you change, well, then it's, again, what you're doing is you're surrendering. And that's what unconditional love is. It's like, and then this person will get out of their ego, because you're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm over here. I'm having a good time. And you will be replaced, because at the end of the day, I'm not getting what I need. It's like, that's what it is. But on an energetic level, this person is like, you're still connected to me. I can figure it out. And you're like, I can't cut the cord. And Spirit says, you can cut the cord. You need to cut the cord. You need to do it for yourself. Then this person will follow suit. They're not going to do it beforehand, because they don't know how. They don't know how for themselves. And you're like, you're not doing it for me. And Spirit says, they're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for me. You both don't know how to do it. So the universe conspired. It's all about elevation. That's why. What is elevation? Spirit says, to evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love, you free yourself from fear, and you have to trust the universe. The universe is love, right? It's like, you have to direct your thoughts to the beauty inside of yourself and around you. Again, if we're not loving ourselves, and we feel like we're inadequate, and we feel like we're not deserving of love on some level, because that's what our environment taught us, Spirit says, no, you need to change your thoughts, and maybe do some affirmations, or, again, put yourself in new situations and experiences to see yourself differently. Become yourself. And then Spirit says, use your spiritual strength and knowledge to create light and love. So to give and receive of love is your free will. And it only takes a mustard seed to start. So again, become unconditional love by doing what you love. Then this person will surrender to love. It's, again, because you're like, I don't need it from you. I'm always filling my own cup up all the way up to the top. And unless you match it, you don't have a place in my life. I'm not commanding it. I'm not telling you, I'm commanding it without words. And what you'll see is other people don't have a problem doing it. And that will make this person look stupid, because what they'll realize is, wow, my heart is closed. It's like, look how little I give. Look how little I give. But that I see. It looks like I'm cheap. It looks like where really they're coming from a place of fear. They were only thinking about themselves. Where you're like, they're selfish in the beginning. And Spirit says, like, yeah, they are. But that's not because of what you think, though. It's triggering your wounds, which that person shouldn't be able to do that. So understand, it's about rise above all doubt. That you are unconditional love, that you deserve love. You're not here by mistake. You're here by my design. You're just born into families and societies that will teach you. But it's always to come back to your true self, the higher self, which is a God part of self, which is unconditional love. And I will bring you people, situations, and experiences that teach you that, because I love you more than anything, the universe says. The universe says, I always support you no matter where you are in life. So remember that. Always stay true to you. Remember, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Don't keep imagining the worst. Recreate. Act as if you're a baby. Start all over again. Be like childlike. It's again by just going out and exploring, having a love affair with yourself, and having a love affair with this person where you just have fun without expectation because you're filling yourself up. You'll find balance because there's love here. And that's the thing. But we have to believe it, otherwise you're not going to be able to create it. You just won't be able to, because you're like, well, I don't believe it because I don't see it. And Spirit says, you're not going to see it doing it the way that you're doing it. It's again, but I wouldn't have brought this person into your life. It's like there's many different ways. Again, there's many different realities that are playing out at one time. Look at your level of consciousness. Look at what you're creating. It's your story. It's your movie. If this person's coming in, you can do something different. Something different by doing something different. You are powerful. I'm going to leave you on that note. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're someone that's in need of shadow healing, check out my new Psychic Soul Healing Shadow Oracle System. Comes with a workbook that has over 70 shadow healing exercises, teaches you how to do psychic reading professionally and for yourself, and will help you deepen your meditation and reflection practices. 68 cards in the deck, titled under Transpersonal Psychology. Transpersonal psychology transcends the limitations of our ego, okay? Helping us to become unconditional love, helping you on your soul's path. Cards are big. They can be used alone, or you can use them in layering. But what's great about the deck is you can stay true to your shadow healing practice, because reconditioning yourself means reprogramming, and we have to dive deep within ourselves. So the exercises in the workbook allow you to dive deep. Now, if you're someone that's really in need of shadow healing, I have a shadow healing coaching program for just $7.99 a month. You get inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to heal the effects of trauma, because you have to recondition your nervous system when you live in survival mode. Otherwise, you'll see adrenal burnout, you get candida, digestion issues, and other things. Remember, your body is your mind's faithful servant. You got to make your mind strong so your body is strong. And that is how you, again, are a strong vehicle for the universe, so that the universe can work through you. So you can create your own heaven on earth, because you can. It's a state of consciousness, though. And so you want to be healthy and strong. And so, again, reconditioning the nervous system, reconditioning the effects of trauma, changing your wounds from fear into power. It's all about integration, because we can use those broken pieces a lot of times to create your soul's path, to help you on your soul's path. Because again, every situation has many different realities. I'm going to leave that there for you guys. Thanks again for sharing your morning with me. And I'll be on again. I'm trying to be consistent with my practice. I promised myself September 1st. So thank you again for showing up for me. I love you guys. Bye.